Thank you for sticking around. You're still watching VBuzz. My name is Shankri, and this is Sharita.
Now, over the last few months, we've enjoyed and definitely reaped a few benefits from Shankar Santhiram's series, Good People, Better Leaders. And today, we'll be kicking off a new series with Shankar based on his recently released book, So You Want to Get Promoted? Where we will be discussing the keys to get you on that path to the promotion. Welcome back to VBuzz, Shankar.
Always lovely to be here. And I really like the way you say the name of the book. I think that's how we're going to say it from now.
Yes, so
you want to get promoted? Yeah,
that should be the way.
That's the one, yeah.
Now, please tell us a little bit about the book and also how it came about.
I've been doing this. I've been in this business of training and corporate leadership and executive coaching for the last 15 years. And over the time, I think the first few years were difficult because I had to find my own footing, figure out what I'm good at, understand the type of courses, because there are so many things that you can teach. And in corporate management, whole range of things. So I had to figure out what I was good at. And after experimenting for a year or two, I realized that I was very good at getting teams to work together. I was very good at helping people unblock their own limitations in terms of leadership growth. I was fairly decent at conflict resolution. And I felt 15 years ago that I had a good way with younger people. Younger people found me less intimidating than older people did for some reason. So, you know, they connected with me much better, and perhaps because I'm quite goofy most of the time and I'm doing things that helps with young people. So I had this body of work and I collected this. And so this is going back 20 years now. And then I cast my mind back to things that I did as an employee myself. Things that I did well, things that I did badly, things that, you know, I was hiding away from, people that I liked. And I asked myself, what is it that what did I miss when I was growing up in the corporate world? And what I really did miss was a real good roadmap kind of, you know, manual, standard operating procedure. Do these 10 things and you will be successful. There are many books that say do these 5 things or 10 things or whatever. But you know, if you think a little deeper, you look at them, you go like, there's so much of fluff inside every book. I found that many self-help books, 200 pages, 300 pages.
Yes, they are.
You pick it up, you enthusiastically read the first 10 pages, and then you park it next to your bedside. You
need a lot of help to get through self-help books at times.
You need a thesaurus. You need to have a Roger's thesaurus next to a self-help book sometimes. So I thought I would be doing a great service to myself, the people that I have worked with, because I've gained a body of knowledge from them, and also for young people right now. So I decided to put the things that I know over the last 15 years to be useful in this particular book.
And you've condensed it into about 5 key steps. Can you tell us what those steps are?
I've condensed it to 92 pages.
Yes.
Right? So that's the thing. That's the real selling point. I want to tell everyone, if you know, someone recently called me after they picked this book up and said, I read it in an hour and 40 minutes. And what was really nice was the first page made me want to read more and more, because, and that's it. It's a no fluff book.
I can attest to that. I just got a copy and I was reading the first page and I just was on to the second page. Didn't even realize we had to continue on with the interview. But you know, what really are these 5 steps about?
I distilled them down to 5 very easy to follow steps. And it's not rocket science. It's very, very straightforward. And the first key to actually getting promoted is to get noticed. And I focus on giving every key. I've got 5 keys, and every key I offer 5 steps, 5 very straightforward steps. And I think we're going to talk about this over the course of the next few months. So I'm not going to preempt by telling you what the contents of each key is. But by and large, the first one is get noticed. You need to get noticed. You need people to actually, you know, clock you in the office. You know? Because a lot of people end up being completely lost in an office, especially when you work in tall hierarchical organizations. And most of the time you really want to be lost because you don't want your boss to find out that you don't really know what you're doing. Right? And it's nice to just, you know.
Yes, it was a bit too keen.
But thank God I'm not in the corporate world. You know, I'm sure I do get noticed because we're on TV,
the work
right?
That you do, absolutely. So get noticed is the first key. The second key is constantly thinking about adding value. How do I add value with whatever I do? So if I'm a TV presenter, how do I add value? Or if I'm the person who does the makeup, or if I'm the person who puts the microphone on for the guest who turns up, or if I'm the editor, my job, my KPI is very straightforward. Be there when the guest shows up, fix the mic on, right? Turn it on, make it comfortable for them. That's my job. That's my KPI. If I do that, I get paid, right? But you get noticed only when you go one
Beyond
step
that.
further.
Yes.
So you add value. How does a person who fixes the microphone add value? By having a conversation with the guest,
Yeah.
by welcoming them, by actually looking and smelling nice, because they're coming quite close to you to start
Yes.
off with. There's a whole range of things that you can actually add value with, for example. So that's the second key, adding value. The third key is, at the end of the day, all of us get paid, not because of the way we look only. Obviously, TV presenters, you guys are in a slightly different field.
Yes.
In the work that I do, they don't care how I look,
Yeah.
so long as I'm decent, right? But people pay me, and people essentially, we all, actually even TV presenters, to be completely honest, we get paid for our skills and knowledge.
Yes.
That's
not
essentially
not
it.
too much for the
Not
looks,
too much
really.
about how you look. You need to look presentable. That's it, right? Having said that, there are TV presenters like Jay Walia who are not that presentable, but never mind. We won't talk about that right
Yes.
now. I have to add him into every conversation that I have.
Yes, we have to, don't we?
But yes, upskilling. So the third thing is upskilling. What do you do? How do you increase your skills? How do you decide what skills are useful for you? Because education is very accessible in today's world. You know, you don't open universities that are. In Malaysia itself, we've got a few open universities. You don't need to leave your home
Yeah.
to get a university degree.
And constant learning and development is
Absolutely.
essential.
But what do you know, where do you direct your learning? Do you know, whether you upskill for your industry or whether you upskill for your organization? These are the types of things that we talk about. Because upskilling for your organization might have nothing to do with your industry. Whereas upskilling for your industry means you are preparing yourself for bigger roles or responsibilities in other organizations, not necessarily yours alone.
Yeah.
So the first one was getting noticed. The second one was
Adding value.
Adding value. The third one is upskilling.
Upscaling. Yeah.
The fourth one is actually getting things done.
Okay.
You know, like staying on point.
Yes, on time.
Staying on point, staying on time. You know, stop your procrastination. Right? How do you get things done?
Okay.
Right? How do you deal with stress? How do you calm yourself down? And the final key is finding mentors. I think this is really important. A lot of people fail to understand that to navigate the complex labyrinth of an organization, knowledge of job is not enough.
Yes.
Meaning, knowing your job alone only will take you up to a point. But what you need is someone above you, someone who's been there longer, to be able to tell you, no, this is right, this is wrong, or you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yes.
Or, don't trust the person in HR that much, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
For example, or
Yeah.
this pal that you're hanging out with in the organization obviously is not very good for you, or is the ideal candidate, or they will also help you with your own growth.
Yeah.
And you need people to speak on your behalf in rooms that you're not in. So in your
That's what
organization,
mentors.
yeah, that's what a mentor does. A mentor likes you, takes you under his or her wing, and then speaks on your behalf in the meetings and the conversations where you're not present, which as a junior person you won't be.
Yeah, and that's, I think, you know what, Shankar, those 5 keys, they're absolutely important, and we can't wait for the series and for you to delve deeper into each of these key. But Shankar, having these 5 important points, right, to get a promotion, and making a book as concise as 90 over pages, what were some of the challenges in making sure that you get the message across and at the same time making it so concise in this book?
The biggest challenge is I talk too much. I'm verbose. My wife always tells me to pipe down or get to the point. My wife is Austrian, German, so that's tough. They jawohl, right, tell me exactly what's going on. Stop telling me a story, because I'm a storyteller. Trainers, we're storytellers. We stand in front of a group of people and we tell stories. So the tough part was to keep it tight. It's 108 pages in total, 92 substantive. There are other things on the sides. Also, we have a tendency to want to draw graphs and put pie charts and take quotes out of context and take photos and do case studies and so on. Interesting, and there is a place for that. If it's a textbook, I want to present a manual to young people. I want to present a manual to young executives and say, you're busy already. You have no real inclination to want to read to start off with. You, you live in the digital culture, right? So, you know, it needs to be something which you can pick up, read, put away, and pick up, read again.
And that's exactly what you have done. You know, it's 92 pages, as you said. But, you know, who are you really trying to reach with this book?
Exactly what I said just now, which is young executives. I'd like to reach young executives, people between the ages of 25 and 35. That's my primary focus group.
Okay.
I'd like to, and these are the people who are the most lost.
Yeah.
Drifting.
Very true. Driven but lost because you don't really know how to navigate your way through.
Direction. You know, and sometimes all I'm offering the reader is direction. You know, direction, your own direction. All I do is I help you create an environment in your mind where you can actually decide what you want to do. That's the whole idea of the book. So, like I said, young executives, 25 to 35-year-olds, are my primary focus group. People who need a helping hand, people who need to kind of decipher what they're doing, park things in proper compartments and take a step back and go like, okay, this is where I am right now, and this is where I'd like to be. Right? So that's one category of people. Of course, it's open for the general market. You know, other people also will benefit from it. People who've been in employment for the last 20 years but have been frustrated because they have been looked over for that coveted promotion, or who feel slighted that the organization sometimes, you know, seemingly doesn't take their needs into consideration. Read the book and it might help you. Might help you actually workshop in your mind itself what you did do right or wrong. You know, as the case may be.
So it's very it's brilliant, Shankar, this book. Also, I think that, you know, every time you need a little pick-me-up, perhaps just read this and reassure yourself that these are the 5 keys to get a promotion. But my question is, are these 5 keys enough to make you a good employee?
The 5 keys on their own give you a manual. It's like saying, if you take the Quran or you take the Bible, you take these 2 holy books, the Guru Granth Sahib, whichever holy book you want, right? That's for Jaiwalia, Guru Granth Sahib, right? You put the book in front of someone, and essentially, the book is a codification of how you should live to attain some form of goodness, to become a good human being, right?
Yeah.
My book is a bit like that.
Okay.
I'm not comparing it to all these holy books. It's not preachy. It's very straightforward. But like every other book, the writer, the author, uses his or her experiences and education and knowledge and interactions with people, crafts something together and tries to keep it as relevant as possible, and then presents it to the open market. Now, someone can take this book, read it, like many people are professional self-help book readers. Right? They will read 20 or 30 books and then they'll behave completely incongruent to anything that is said inside that book. I know many people who are like this.
I've seen people print out the 7 habits and put it in the toilets.
That's right. And read it repeatedly, but display none of the 7 habits at all in day-to-day interaction. So like everything else, you know, just like religious people who go to the temple, come out and be complete nasty people for the rest of the 7 days, 6 days, and then go back on the Friday to the temple or to Sunday to the church or whatever, and pray for 1 or 2 hours and think that absolves them from everything else. It's exactly the same. Like any text that can help you, it will only help you if you apply. If you have to, you know, attitudinal shift must come from this. That's the reason why I've tried to keep it very tight, because I don't want to let, you know, the reader get lost along the way. You know, I want them to be really like, oh, really? Okay, fine. So what I need to do is this. If I do this, and then I ask people to experience it themselves and say, you know, why don't you just think about doing this? Try this and see whether it works for you. The feedback I've received since the time we've released the book, which is now coming up to about a month since we released the book, has been very good. It's got a lot of, you know, I had 11 pre-readers who read it, and I had interesting people reading it, corporate captains and thought leaders, and they gave me very good feedback. And the people who've read it since have come back and said, it's been very helpful. So I'm very encouraged by this, you know, and sales have been all right.
It's fantastic. Now, Shankar, from your own observations, you know, we're going to be speaking about the 5 points in greater detail in the weeks to come, but from your own observations, why aren't people getting promoted? What are employees doing wrong?
I think it's a very good question. It's a disconnect. You have on the one hand the needs of an organization. The needs of an organization are mechanicized by the people who lead that organization. So, your managing director, CEOs, your managers, the board, they might be part of the board or they might be just, vehicles of the board. They're talking and they're saying, okay, these are the things that we need to do in an organization, and we are driven by this particular profit drive or innovation drive or whatever. Then you have the people who actually roll their sleeves up and do the work. That's the you and I's of the world, right? The people that I'm actually writing for.
Yeah.
And now many people sometimes forget that their own aspirations, their own goals, everything in their life there is a requirement for income. You need money to fuel everything that you do. The house that you live, the car that you have, the holidays that you want to take. Right?
Yeah.
Where does that money come from? That money comes from essentially exchanging your skills and knowledge for money. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So you come to work here at VBuzz and Astro, you exchange your skills and knowledge to do this as presenters in exchange for the income that they give you.
Sure.
Now, how much money you earn is very much dependent on how your perceived value is, right? So people don't get promoted because they perceive in their mind their value is phenomenal. Like if I ask the two of you right now, and I'll put myself and I'll put everybody in the studio here, how many of you here, the whole studio, everyone here, right? How many of you think you should get paid more money?
Oh, wow.
So
Okay,
you all
we're
can't
seeing
see
a
this.
show of hands.
Full show of hands.
We're seeing a
Everyone's
show
got
of
the
hands.
hands, right?
People dancing and jumping, really.
So this
Thank
is
you, crew.
This is like thank you. This is like running a training program. I ask this question every time. Everyone in the training program feels that they should get paid more. Feels, right? Now, I ask another question, right? How many of you deserve to get paid more?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
no one.
See, not so many hands going up this
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Not so many hands going this time, right?
It's a very hesitant. Yeah.
The feel is what your perception is. The deserve is you need to actually think about what, what your value is as seen by someone else. Why do people not get promoted? Because there is a disconnect between what you think your value is and what the people who matter, people who matter, the people who employ you.
Yeah.
Unfair, but hey, that's the lay of the land.
Yes, and thank God, Shankar, that you have this manual for us now, and that we could go through it and also go through it in detail in the weeks to come for you to tell us, months to come, for you to tell us how to get promoted. Really,
Great.
Thank you so much. You also gave us a copy of the book. Thank you. It's very
so.
generous.
It's going to be out. It's going to be out in MPH bookshops in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, you can get in touch with us at eqtd.com, info@eqtd.com, and collect your book. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shankar.
Wow.
That's very interesting. Now I have a book to read. when I go
Today
back
it was been like a whole day full of motivation, huh? Get to the gym, get yourself promoted. Lots of stuff going on.
Tomorrow is going to be equally as fun because it's the last week we sat down with Nicole Ann Thomas, one of the stars of the upcoming revival of Nonsense. And tomorrow we sit down with yet another Thresago as we find out all about her role in the production.
And award-winning soprano Ang Mei Fong stops by to tell us how she's been weaving musical magic with her new band of musicians.
And on V Tempo, we take a look at part 2 of the Piano in Our feature on Indian classical instruments.
And as always, guys, please do keep writing to us at vbuzz@astro.com.my, and you can follow us on Instagram at vbuzz_HD.
We hope today's episode has left you motivated and driven. That's how we love to inspire people. And I hope you enjoyed the show. My name is Shankri.
And I'm Sharita. Have a good night.